All right, in this video I wanted us to think about the process by which we can transcribe and translate a specific DNA sequence so that we can learn what the identity or content of the protein is that is made by that DNA sequence. So this relates to the central dogma of molecular biology that we've talked about previously in our course. So the central dogma tells us that living things store genetic information in their DNA. When they need to use that genetic information to do things in the cell, they first copy the DNA into RNA through the process of transcription. Once we have that RNA copy, we then translate the information in the RNA into a protein. So we need to learn what protein is made from a piece of DNA, we need to do the transcription step and the translation step. So let's see how that works. So we're going to start with a specific DNA sequence. So here I've made up a completely random DNA sequence. I literally typed it in randomly using A's, T's, G's, and C's on my keyboard. And then I looked for just a couple spots where I needed to make sure specific sequence elements existed. So I changed one or two letters, and now I have something that we can turn into a protein. So here we can see that our DNA sequence is double-stranded. There's two sides, the top strand and this bottom strand. That the two strands are complementary. G's pair with C's and T's pair with A's. And then the two strands are anti-parallel. The 3' end of one strand is paired up with the 5' end of another strand. So our DNA is complementary, anti-parallel, and double-stranded. So we're going to start with that DNA sequence, and when we do the transcription step, we are going to need to identify the template strand. So for this example, we're going to use the upper strand as the template strand. So depending on how complex the problem you're working on is, you may just be given the one sequence, a template strand, and be told to transcribe and translate that template strand. Or you might be given the double-stranded DNA, and then you might be given some hints or some pieces of terminology that will direct you to the template strand. But for this video, let's keep it simple. I'm just going to say, all right, the template strand is the top one. That's the strand of DNA that we are going to copy during transcription. So we're going to transcribe that into an RNA. So we're going to take the DNA sequence in the box, we're going to look at it, and we're going to transcribe it into RNA. When we transcribe the RNA, we build it in an anti-parallel way as well. So we start at the 3' end of this template strand. Since the RNA will also be anti-parallel, we're going to get the 5' end of the RNA that we're making right here. And then we just follow the simple complementary base pairing rules for DNA and RNA. And so if we look at our template strand and we see a C in the first position, we use the complementary base pairing rules. We know that a C pairs with G. So in our RNA, we're going to put a G in the first position. Then we'll look at the second position. We see that there's a T in that position. The complementary base pairing rules tell us that T pairs with A in the RNA. So we're going to put an A in our RNA. The next position contains a G. Again, we know G's pair with C's, so we put a C in the RNA sequence. The next nucleotide is also a G, so we're going to put another C in the RNA. Now we reach the letter T in our DNA, and we know that when DNA and RNA form complementary base pairs, the RNA uses U instead of T. So T's in DNA will pair with A in the RNA, but an A in the DNA will pair with a U in the RNA. So over our next two positions, we've got a T in the DNA, that pairs with A, and then an A in the DNA, and that pairs with U. And we just keep following those base pairing rules as we go. So our next letter is a C, we put in a G. We've got another C, we put in another G. We're not going to walk through every single letter. Let's just fill in the rest of the sequence. We've matched up letter by letter the nucleotides in the template strand of the DNA with the complementary nucleotide in the RNA. Again, the only difference between DNA and RNA is that the RNAs contain U's instead of T's. So now we have our RNA sequence. We've completed the transcription step. All that transcription does is create an RNA copy of the template strand. We could be more specific and say that transcription creates a complementary RNA copy of the template strand. So again, we've made all those complementary base pairs. All right, now we've got our RNA. We're going to translate that sequence. So we're going to translate the RNA now. So how do we get started? The first thing we have to do is find a start codon. So translation always starts at a start codon, and the start codon is always AUG. So if you're ever looking at an RNA sequence and you're asked to translate it, you got to find the first start codon. So the start codon is always the first AUG in that RNA. Sometimes, some examples, it'll be the very first 3 letters. Sometimes it'll be 5 letters in, like mine is. So we find that start codon, and then it's time to begin the translation process. So I want to figure out what amino acid does that start codon indicate belongs in the protein. So we're going to use this genetic code to look up these codons as we do this translation process. So in this table, I need to find the codon AUG. And so it's sorted by first letter here, A, and then second letter U. So in this AU box, here's all the possibilities that begin with AU, and there's AUG. And I see that it's the start codon, and more specifically, it codes for this amino acid, met or methionine. So if I go back to my example, AUG, that I found the start codon, I looked it up, I know it codes for methionine. So I'm going to start writing down what my protein looks like. So I'm going to write down the protein sequence, and it's going to start with a methionine. It doesn't start with a start amino acid, right? The start codon means that every protein we make always begins with a methionine. All right, so then I'm just going to keep going with that process. I've got to look up the next codon. So I did the start codon, AUG. The next codon is GAG. So I go back to my genetic code and I look up GAG. So again, GA, here are all the GA combinations. There's GAG, GLU, glutamate. So we put a GLU in our protein sequence. And again, we just keep going in this way. So we had a methionine, our second amino acid is a glutamate. Next, we're going to look up CUA. All right, so we go back to the code, CUA, leucine, LEU. So I put that into my protein sequence. We get the next 3 letters, which are CGU. We look that up. CGU, here we go, it's an arginine. So we come back, we put arginine in our protein sequence. So we're just trying to build the string of amino acids in the order that the DNA told us they belong. So we'll keep going. Next we've got AGC. Here we go with our genetic code, AGC. We get a serine. So we come back, we'll put a serine in that position. Gets pretty repetitive, right? Next one, CGC. We look that up, CGC. Here it is, it's another arginine. So put that in. Then we look up CGU. Let's see, CGU right here, another arginine. All right, so our protein now has 3 arginines in it with using a couple different codons to get that same arginine. All right, we move on to the next one, ACG. ACG, there it is. We get this amino acid called threonine. So we put THR in there. We go on to the next codon, UAG. So we look that up, UAG. Oh, and this one, like we have a start codon, we have a stop codon here. So this actually tells us to stop the translation process. So when we read a stop codon, any stop codon, when you read a stop codon, stop, you're done. There is another codon here, CAU. We're not going to read it because we just got told to stop. The protein ends at this point, and we don't start putting a new protein together right after that. This protein is done. So our protein contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 amino acids in this specific order. If we were curious what that protein was, we could go look it up online in a certain way. You might do that for another class sometime. But those are the steps of transcription, copying the DNA to RNA, and then translation, where you read the RNA and make a protein. So I hope that helps you use this method, this approach, to create a protein from any DNA sequence. As always, if you have questions about the process, please don't hesitate to let me know, and I'll look forward to talking to you real soon.